Yo, what's going down, everybody? It is straight out of Boston here, aka the King of Boston, and today we're back with episode 17 of the Around the League series. And today I am doing the New York Knicks. We're about a little over halfway done now, so getting towards the end, hopefully pretty soon. Today I'm facing Los Angeles Clippers. This was a random that I played. He was probably the biggest cheeser I've ever played in an online game, and the ending is actually really funny, so I think you guys will like it. But either way, let's get into what I want to talk about, and that is the New York Knicks, of course. So we'll just go down the roster like usual. Carmelo Anthony, really nothing to say about him. One of the best players in the NBA, certainly an MVP candidate. In my opinion, probably the best one-on-one pure scorer in the NBA. You can certainly make an argument for Kobe Bryant or a Kevin Durant, especially because Kevin Durant's got a good post game, and he's got 6'11" or something crazy like that. I mean, he's actually like 6'11". He's so tall. I don't know what he's listed. I think he's still listed at 6'9", but he's 6'11". So I'd say Melo probably might still be one of the best one-on-one scorer in the NBA. He's a guy that every team could use, and he's really improved this year too. He's shooting better, and I'd throw him in there as an MVP candidate this year. Raymond Felton is a guy who has been on a lot of different teams, especially of recent. He came up with the Bobcats, spent half a year with the Knicks, half a year with the Nuggets after the Carmelo Anthony trade, spent 2012 with the Portland Trailblazers, and now is back with the New York Knicks, where he had his career best year, averaging 17 points and 8 assists for that first half of that 2010-2011 season. And he's back, and he's playing much better than he did last year. Last year he looked fat, he looked out of shape, he didn't care, just like a lot of guys coming after the lockout. But he's really back this year, and he looks really good. And I think he's probably, in my opinion, maybe the second most valuable player to that team. Because when he was out with his broken pinky, they really missed him, I really think they missed him. But anyway, Tyson Chandler also maybe the second most important player on that team. He really sets the tone defensively. He's probably the best defensive player in the NBA. I think he just won the Defensive Player of the Year last year. In my opinion, was a key to the success of the 2010-2011 Dallas Mavericks team. And he's another guy, a big 7'1" center, a guy that any team could use. He's exactly what you would want out of a center. Great rebounder, great defensively. Not the best scorer, but you don't really need that if you have Carmelo Anthony and a few of these guys in your rotation. So J.R. Smith is also another key player to this team. He's a Sixth Man of the Year candidate. He's been a career sixth man. He's not the greatest defensively, but he's a pure scorer. He can create his own shot. One of the streakiest shooters in the NBA, but he's kind of become more consistent as he's aged, especially since coming over to the New York Knicks. He said he's kind of gotten the partying out of his life, stuff like that, and that's good for him. He's having a career best year, Sixth Man of the Year candidate, and it's really exciting to see him play because he is one of the most electrifying players in the NBA. Very athletic, can do pretty much everything on the offensive end except for post up or whatever. But anyway, let's move on. Iman Shumpert, one of the best young defenders in the NBA. I really like this kid out of Georgia Tech. This is the second year he's coming off of an ACL tear in the playoffs last year, but he's back. He's healthy. He's looked shaky at best, just because coming off an ACL injury, that's hard. It's hard to come off an ACL injury, and it's definitely going to take a little bit for him to fully recover. So anyway, but he's looked good. He's a key part to this team's success, in my opinion. I think everyone on this team it's a very good all-around team, but I'm serious when I say that, great young defender, good three-point shooter. I hope the Knicks don't trade him. I think that'd be silly if they traded him for Jared Dudley or whatever the rumors are. Amari Stoudemire, he was a guy who was injured for the first half of the year. He's been very disruptive to the team in previous history, just in terms of it seems like he has a negative effect on how the team plays. And, ever since he's come back, they certainly have not gotten any better since he's come back. I believe he's still coming off the bench, which is good. He needs to come off the bench. I like him in a role as a sixth man, where he comes off the bench and runs an offense with J.R. Smith and then three other bench players. So he'd really be the seventh man. I don't think he belongs on the court at the same time with Melo and Chandler. I don't think that works together. That's my opinion. So I like him coming off the bench. I think that he needs to, even though he has a giant contract, he needs to be a role player on this team. And that's going to be the key to success, in my opinion, for the New York Knicks, is if, how they can deal, or one of the keys of success, is how they can deal with Amari Stoudemire. Now moving on, we kind of move into some of their bench/role players. James White, one of the best dunkers in the NBA, doesn't really play too often though. Rasheed Wallace and Marcus Camby have both missed 30-plus games. I think their health is very key. They really anchor that second unit in terms of the defense, which is something that Mike Woodson obviously really likes. Kurt Thomas as well is a guy who needs to stay healthy. He's very old, so it's hard for a guy like that to stay healthy in the NBA. Pablo Prigioni, I really like. He's a 35-year-old rookie from Argentina. He's one of the best players in, I believe, the Spanish league last year, and he's a very good passer. I really like him on the second unit. I like him. I mean, he's a good player. Steve Novak, one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. Jason Kidd, man, this guy has been invaluable to this team. When he signed a 3-year, $9 million contract in the offseason, I really did not think of this as a big move. But what he has done in that clubhouse, in that locker room, it's like having it's like having an assistant coach on the floor with you when he plays. I mean, he is so smart, one of the smartest players in the NBA, one of the most experienced players in the NBA, 1994-95 co-rookie of the year. That's how old that guy is. He was drafted before Kevin Garnett, before Marcus Camby, before all these guys. And, he's been invaluable to that team. I think he's been probably maybe their biggest offseason acquisition. I mean, he has just really been that important to that team. He's one of those guys that you can't look on paper and see how much he's doing for the team. You have to look in terms of just what he's doing in that clubhouse, in that locker room, whatever you want to say. But look at this. The guy rage quits in overtime after I steal the inbound pass. He doesn't get his VC. I get my VC. Thought that was pretty funny, but he played like 80 online games, so I imagine he's like an online type player. He doesn't really play MyCAREER or something like that. Probably plays mostly online. But anyway, a few other guys: Chris Copeland, Ronnie Brewer. Ronnie Brewer's a very good defender. Every team needs a guy like that, and Chris Copeland has proven himself in the small minutes that he's gotten as a very capable scorer in the NBA. Kind of a tweener, though. Not really sure if he's a small forward or power forward. But either way, that's what I think about this team. I think this is a team that definitely could go to the finals. I think they match up well with the Heat, but they're a streaky team. They're a three-point shooting team. If their shots aren't falling, they're not going to win games. So anyway, like I said, this is the team that could potentially go to the finals. They match up well with the Heat. If they're hitting their shots, they're hard to beat. Anyway, it's going to wrap up this video. So I thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. So I'm out. Peace.